Finally, I want to close out the show by talking about Michigan receiving the NCAA's notice of allegations. Pete Thamel reported that these notice of allegations were very similar to the ones that were in the draft notice of allegations. Very similar to the notice draft that was leaked in early August. It's mostly unchanged. Mostly. So there could be extra penalties, but what I take away from this is the fact that I don't think the hammer will drop on Michigan. I've said that opinion previously, and people said, oh, well, you don't want the hammer to drop. And, well, full disclosure, I'm a Michigan fan, so I don't. But objectively, I don't think it will. If anything, my fan side says that it will happen, because I always want to prepare for the worst. But objectively, where I don't have to prepare for the worst as a fan, I don't think it'll happen. I think the worst that will happen, the worst that could be in that notice of allegations, is some type of fine, scholarship reduction, maybe a postseason ban for like a year, maybe 2, or more likely than all of that is probably Sharon Moore, a suspension for him. Or maybe even more likely than that, some type of severe fine or temporary scholarship reduction or a further reduction of recruiting visits, for example. I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you guys. I'm not an insider. I'm not even close to who Pete Thamel is, and Pete Thamel doesn't even, he's not even telling us what these formal notice of allegations are. And Michigan has, 90 days to respond to this, and the NCAA has 30 days to respond to after that. So the season will almost be done by the time that all of this is formally settled. And in fact, I think what'll probably happen is there will probably be something that happens like this year, this season, just looking at this from an objective view. But I think a lot of this will come to fruition in the 2025 preseason. And the notice of allegations draft here, I'm gonna pull it up for you guys. NOA draft Michigan. I want to look at this again. This was written, the draft article by Dan Murphy and Pete Thamel on August 4th of 2024. So 3 weeks ago, exactly. The draft, which could be subject to change, stated that Sharon Moore could face a show cause penalty and possibly a suspension for allegedly deleting a thread of 52 text messages with former Michigan staffer Connor Stalions in October 2023, on the same day that media reports revealed Stalions was leading an effort to capture the play-calling signals of future opponents. The draft also states the text were later recovered via device imaging, and he was accused of a level 2 violation. Again, as I've stated before, based off of the fact that the texts were recovered and he only received a level 2 violation, I don't think much, if any, incriminating evidence was found in those text messages, because if there were any, Sharon Moore would have and should have been given a level 1, and he wasn't. Moore took over as the Wolverines head coach in January when Harbaugh left for the Chargers. What gets Moore in trouble is not the level 2 violation, it's not the deleted text messages, it's the fact that he's a repeat violator due to the fact that he contacted recruits during the COVID-19 dead period, also what Michigan fans call Burgergate. He's a repeat violator. That's really what gets Sharon Moore, and I would argue Michigan, in trouble, is him and the school are listed as repeat violators. The school has a level 1 violation as well. I'm trying to look for anything else that says what possible punishments Michigan could receive. I mean, Thamel said postseason ban is unlikely, vacation of wins is unlikely. What you will likely see is a fine, an attempt at a suspension of some type, whether that's for this year, whether that will be served out in 2025, a scholarship reduction. And this isn't me doing propaganda. This is just me speculating based off of what Thamel said in an interview, what he wrote in the article. That's my opinion. That's my interpretation of all of this. It's very, very unlikely that the hammer will drop. Don't expect it to. Now, the question of whether it should or should not, I'm just going to leave that up to you guys, because I think my thoughts to a certain degree have already been clear on this matter. But whether you want it to or not, or you think it will or won't, or you want it to happen and you think it's justified or you think it isn't, the probability that it will happen is just not likely. And if you're particularly, I would just say, if you're Ohio State and Ryan Day, who's really been the only team over the previous 3 years outside of Michigan State in 21 to even compete with Michigan, what you want to do is to beat Michigan. You want to beat them this year on the field. And Day and the team, whether how badly they were aggrieved or whether they were aggrieved at all, they have the tools to beat this Michigan team. They're favored to beat this Michigan team. I here am picking them as of right now to beat Michigan in Columbus. I am. And if there's going to be anything that stops Michigan, and I'm saying this because I think many people want the hammer to come down to stop Michigan, what will stop Michigan in all likelihood is not the NCAA. It'll probably be Ohio State or another elite team in the Big Ten this year. And if Michigan beats Ohio State and they, beat Oregon and beat Texas and win the Big Ten again, or even win it all somehow, which is very unlikely, well, Connor Stalions is gone. He's controversially recruiting in a Detroit high school, and most of Michigan's staff from last year is gone because due to their cheating, they had to leave. They had to. They weren't going to stay safe in Ann Arbor. They won't. Michigan had to, they would have had to hand out a harsher punishment if Harbaugh and most of his staff stayed around. But they left. Michigan lost a lot of their players and roster. And now here we are. And I'm talking a little bit about on-the-field stuff instead of off-the-field stuff, which is what the NOA is, because I don't know, because let's just play football. Enough with the cheating scandal or the signs. Enough with all that talk. Michigan won the national title. They beat Penn State. They beat Ohio State. They did those two things with their head coach suspended, and he should have been suspended. They beat Alabama. They beat Washington, all without Stalions, all without any possible advantage over their opponents. They won those games fair and square. Before that, you can question it, and I'm not going to stop you because Michigan had some type of advantage. But to say that, all those, those wins are tainted, no. Not after he was suspended. The wins before then, absolutely. And maybe I'll give you to a degree that, the 2023 team as a whole even was, because it was caught then, and, the recruiting and stuff that happened because of Michigan's success. And I don't want to get too much into that because even I think that argument to a certain degree is bogus. But it just is what it is. Let's talk about football here. And let's talk about the fact that Michigan football is a team with a lot of unknowns. The unknowns are even factored into the part of, will Sharon Moore be suspended or not? What will the NOA contain? Will they punish Michigan this year or not? That's involved. But also you can talk about the fact that they have questions because Ohio State and Oregon, and I'd say even Penn State, return more production. And theoretically, with what they return and the fact they have coaching staff continuity and they made good hires or retain their good hires, they should, or at least Oregon and Ohio State should be better than Michigan this year. And heck, I'd even say Penn State, even with some of the questions that they have. So those are my thoughts on Michigan receiving the notice of allegations from the NCAA. The hammer isn't dropping. It's just not. Michigan will receive some type of punishment on top of what they've already received, and that's how it'll be. That's really it. And I think that the people who say that, the cheating never happened, I think that's a moronic take. I think the people who think that cheating was the only reason why Michigan succeeded, I think that's also a moronic take. I think both are coping. On one end, it's the coping of rival fan bases like I'd say Ohio State primarily that wants to believe that Michigan could never beat the precious scarlet and gray. And on the other hand, for Michigan fans, it's the hypocrisy that the precious maize and blue could never cheat, could never be immoral. And it's just, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it as a college football fan, an analyst who respects Michigan, who respects Ohio State, who can set my Michigan fan bias aside. Let's just play football, because as it looks like right now, from my angle and from the national angle in particular, Michigan's not the best team in the Big Ten. I think they're undervalued, but Ohio State is, and I think will, be better. Let's just let it play out. Let the NOA play out. Michigan will receive some type of punishment guaranteed unless they fight it and somehow win. And let's just let the regular season stuff play out. And what's done is done. Thank you for watching this cut of Touchdown Talk. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, comment your thoughts down below, and share this video around to other college football fans. I want to give a special shout out to my Patreon members for sponsoring this channel and video. Thanks to Crash2488 and Brasco Rascal for being Heisman members. Thanks to Chris Lane, Connor Little OH, Ismar, and Tyler Nye for being All-American members. And thanks to John Lynn, Roaming Gnome, Matthew Sale, Austin Christmas, and Janisha Cockrell for being all-conference members. If you want direct message access to me, and also after 6 months of membership, free signed College Football with Sam merchandise delivered to your door, merchandise of your choosing, I may add. Sign up as a Heisman member for $25 a month and stick around for 6 months. All-American membership is $10. All-conference membership is $5. If you want merchandise regardless, check out my merchandise store via the link in the description or down below in the pinned comment. It's high-quality stuff. I wear it for all of my streams, and that's because it's comfortable, high-quality, athletic, stretchy. It's really good clothing, and I encourage you to check out my merchandise store along with my Patreon page, which are in the links in the description and in the pinned comment. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.